work in the military is absolutely accepting of that. And there are radical Christians who need to be stopped. And there are radical Jews who need to stop building effing settlements in land that is not theirs. There are all sorts of things that have to happen and could happen. Radical Hindus, radical Buddhists. If you follow the Rohingya people, like, oh my God, just like, please, just stop. And what I'm seeing are lots of leaders that divide, not just here in the United States, but in many places. I was just, as I said, I was in the Philippines, and I'm just listening to this Duterte, and I'm thinking, God, this guy, I mean, he's like the Filipino version of Donald Trump, only, worse, right? And so, worse in terms of being divisive, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being divisive and pitting one group in another. And it's not that difficult to get people to rise up and hate in moments of intolerance, to rise up and hate and commit violence against other people. We see it all through history. And we will see it again, and we're seeing it today. So that's what happened with the Rohingya people, for example. So this is where we're going today. I don't have anything, so you got it, right? This is not apology for Islam, but what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the roots of Islamophobia. And with that in mind, it's going to be a really cool class. I'm looking for, I need 2 volunteers who are Christians. Like, not like pseudo-Christian. I mean, like, you got to be a real, like, you got to at least be wearing a cross or wear one most of the time. I just need 2. You don't have to, it's not a big deal. I just need a couple Christians. I'm not going to, can I get 2 Christians in the back? Christians tend to sit in the back because you're higher, you're closer to God. I know that, right? When Jesus comes, he's going to get to you first before he gets to these heathens down here. So give me a couple Christians from the back. Someone who hasn't volunteered before. Dude, are you a Christian, bro? Is he? Are you a real Christian? All right. Catholic? Oh, that's not a real Christian, dude. All right. No, okay. Come on down, bro. Hey, wait. Have you volunteered before? Wait. Hang on. Have you volunteered before? No. All right, good. All right. I need somebody else. Nah, dude. No, not with that hat, man. I can't have 2. Can I get, ideally, can I get somebody else? Ideally, someone of color. Come on, like, I know I got some serious black Christians in here. Dude, are you a Christian? Pretty hardcore? Medium core. Well, due to the fact that nobody else is volunteering. Okay, come on. Jesus loves medium core Christians. Bro, you can actually sit on the table. Yeah, it'll be more comfortable for you. Hey. All right, man.
This work?
Yeah. It works, man. What's your name, bro?
Mike.
Mike? Yep. Is that a cross? Hang on, let me look. Dude, hang on, get a close-up. Right here. He's a serious Christian right there. You don't mind me touching it, right?
Yeah, you can touch it. Yeah.
That's cool. All right, man. Nice meeting you. Do you have a cross on?
I do not.
Oh, so you are a medium Christian. All right. And what's your name?
So, fun fact.
Wait, talk any.
My legal name is actually Christian.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes up for your...
Yeah, my parents hate me. It's fine.
Yeah? Okay.
But I go by Chrissy.
Christine?
Chrissy.
Chrissy? What kind of Christian are you? Just a generic Christian?
Presbyterian?
Presbyterian?
Yeah.
Well, you say that with a question mark.
I don't know. You made it sound like there was another answer. There's a right answer.
Wait,
to
talk
this.
closely on
Oh.
that. No, there's not a right. No, it's Christian. Well, he's a Catholic, so he's kind of between the two of you. We got a full Christian up here. All
I
right.
see.
Dude, there are so many Christians who don't think you're a real Christian. I know I'm making jokes about it all the time, but talking to the mic.
I believe it, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But you are, as far as I'm concerned.
I think
All right, so I want you to read this quote. You can stand down if you need to read it. Okay, you got it? Okay, cool? Sure. Okay, so my first question is, so what are your initial thoughts about that person who's being quoted? I'll go back to the quote. What's your initial thoughts about that? Go ahead.
About, like, the person?
About the person, yeah.
Well, it doesn't seem like he likes Christians very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's scary that that kind of statement is coming from someone who has that much power and influence.
Yeah. What's scary about it?
I mean, just read the last sentence, but let's use these weapons we have, the weapons of mass destruction, if we need be, and destroy the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of scary if he wants to use weapons to cause mass destruction of people like us, I guess. It's kind
Yeah.
of scary.
So what about how much do you think he's interested in conversations?
It doesn't seem like much.
Yeah, like 0%,
0? Could you get lower than that possibly?
-4.
-4. All right. What do you think his people think? You know. Yeah, his people. I mean, he represents obviously a lot of people, man. What do you think they think about?
I think like a good majority might possibly like agree with him, but I think there's always going to be a percentage of people that just want peace.
So a good majority agree with him, but there's a good percentage there's always going to be people that want peace. Bro, what do you think, man?
I mean, it's all of Iran. He's the spiritual advisor to the president of Iran. So, I mean, I don't believe that everyone in Iran hates Christians with this vehement of an opinion like his, but there probably are people who feel the same way that he does.
Uh-huh. Okay. Do y'all, you have your thoughts, right? Everyone's got their thoughts going, like what you think about this guy. You feel, if you're a Christian, you feel afraid? I mean, if this guy, would you feel afraid to be around?
Would I feel afraid if I was in Iran?
Or
do
even
I
just
feel...
does this make you fearful of
No.
Iran and the Iranians?
As an American, not really.
Uh-huh. How about you? Well, go ahead. As an American, not really?
I mean, yeah, I don't personally feel like afraid by this statement. I think it could be a concern, but as of right now, no.
Okay. So here, let me kick something out to you. So here's the deal. Just think about your responses, okay? Think about the quote. Think about where we're at. And now I'm just going to turn the tables a little bit, okay? Because that's actually that's not a real person. That person doesn't exist. He does, but he doesn't, okay? So the real quote this is the real quote, okay? So some of you recognize this guy, Franklin Graham. So he's an advisor to, he was the spiritual advisor to George Baby Doc Bush and President Donald Trump. That's a shout out to the Haitians, by the way. And President Donald Trump gave one of the prayers at Trump's inauguration. So this is what he said. Now, so we're just going to assume for a second that everything you said about this person would be true if you were in Iran. But now I'm going to ask you the third question, though, that I asked. Okay, you're Iranian, right? You feel afraid?
I guess you could, yeah. I guess, yeah, I would say sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should be. I'm asking,
Like if or were?
Yeah, if you're in Iran. This is the spiritual advisor to the two presidents of the United States, basically saying we just need to destroy all Muslims. We definitely need to destroy Iran.
I feel like, yeah, I would be. I feel like it's different context, like being in the United States. We don't see as much like warfare firsthand. Like we don't have like tanks rolling around in our cities, but like over in like the Middle East, like they experience that every day. So I feel like it's different.
Yeah.
Like it's very different, like receiving a threat here versus like them receiving a threat there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and not everywhere, right? Like in Iran, you don't see tanks and stuff, but nonetheless, well, you do. I mean, but yes and no. But yeah, okay. So do you have anything else? Like, how do you feel as a Christian? Because he represents you. To the Iranians, right? If this is a room full of Iranians right here, this guy is a spokesperson for your president. So at some level, he represents you. And so what would you say to Iranians about, because you're a Christian, right? This guy's a Christian. So like these people don't know. They're all Muslims. They have no idea.
I personally, I think it's really embarrassing and quite frankly, disappointing that a pastor could go out of his way to say that ever. Especially just coming as, so I was raised in a Christian family. I went to Christian school, all that. But I just personally, never in my entire experience have I ever interacted with a fellow Christian who had so much hate like that. And just that type of bias towards anyone.
So if you were talking to, and you are, because there are Muslims on the live stream watching class right now from the Middle East. So what would you say to them? Say what you just said, but say it to Muslims.
That's not right at all, and I'm really sorry. I don't know, that's uncomfortable. I don't see them.
No, it's all right. No, they see you though. You're right in the camera angle. Bro, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's for me personally speaking, in my experience with Christianity and Catholicism, that's not the accurate, that's not how I view Catholicism, and it's never been anything that I've been taught in my years of like CCD or ever going to Mass or anything. And I would just say Franklin Graham needs to like get his priorities in check, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Let's keep moving on. Thanks, man. That's all. You're done, dude. Right. That was easy enough. Nice. Thank you. All right. Appreciate it. All right, man. Thanks. Yo, he killed it. Dude, you should have loaned him your hat. He'd have killed it even more. All right. So listen. Here's what I need now. I need some I need 3 or 4 Muslim volunteers to come down. And someone who hasn't volunteered before. You, how about you, right? Hang on. Mudar is volunteer. You? Dude, are you Muslim? You are, right? How about, you want to do it? Have you volunteered before? You haven't? Bro, have you been up here before? All right, man. Dude, you, man. Have you been up here before? All right, come on, man. Come on. Have a seat. Okay, so where are you from?
New Jersey. Hi, I'm Nida. I'm from New Jersey.
What's your first name?
Nida.
Nida? Mm-hmm. And where's your family from?
India.
India? Mm-hmm. And you're Muslim? Mm-hmm. How many Muslims are in India?
A lot.
A lot, right? Okay. Nida. Nida? Nida?
Yeah.
All right, ma'am. All right, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Barisha. I'm from Bangladesh.
Marisha from Bangladesh. Do you shake hands? All right, cool, man. Marisha.
My name's...
Wait, are you from Bangladesh? So, like, you're an international student. All right, bro.
I'm Abdur Rahman. I'm from Kuwait.
From Kuwait? Yeah? Abdul Rahman. All right, man. Abdul Rahman. Dude, that's you right there, my friend.
I'm Ahmed. I'm from Egypt.
You're from... I was going to guess Egypt, bro.
Yeah, you met me.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
You met me in the beginning of the semester.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Ahmed. There it is. See, but trust me, I don't have a memory like that. That isn't why. All right, man. So listen. I can't remember. I won't remember names. So you don't hold it against me, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pretend that your 4 Muslim classmates are actually not here in the U.S. We're going to pretend that they're actually in their home countries, learning. They've never been here, and they're learning about the United States. And they're learning about the United States in the way that most of us do, which is in the news. And you know how news is like mostly negative? It's like mostly, like, Donald Trump, right? In news, the vast majority of the media, well, Donald he's really easy to criticize, but, mostly you just see negative stuff, right? So forget about him. News is just filled with negative stuff. And so when we see stuff here about around the world and things that happen, it's wars, it's violence, it's murders, it's all the stuff that actually is rare. If it makes the news, it makes the news because it's rare. So, when you see murders and robberies and violence and that kind of stuff on the evening news, well, it makes the evening news because it doesn't happen very much. The normal stuff, the everyday stuff that doesn't get reported is the stuff that doesn't make the news. Okay, you got that, right? So, when you're in your home countries, we're going to project you back. Okay, so you've never been here. You're in your home countries. right? And you're going to want to kind of turn this way because you're going to be watching. You can move up here. And when you're in your home countries and you're learning about the United States, and I'm going to give you a picture of the United States that is virulently anti-Muslim, okay? That your media, just like our media, is going to pick out stuff that Muslims do because we tend to have more fear of Muslims, or we're going to pick out stuff that other countries do, countries we don't like or people we don't like, and we're going to tend to pick that out and highlight it. You know, your media might pick out all of the stuff in the United States that really portrays Islam and Americans to be really Islamophobic and really closed-minded and really this and really that, okay? So it's not the picture of it, but I'm going to give it to you. Okay, and we're gonna walk through in that way, and then we're gonna have a conversation. So for the moment, you're not gonna really say anything. You're just gonna sit and listen. And maybe you will. I don't know. Are we good? Does everyone know where we're going? We're cool, right? So now, what I'm doing is to be really clear to you all. I'm not being unfair. I mean, I don't have all of the stuff that I'm going to present. I don't have to look very far to find it. Just like y'all don't have to look very far to find effed up things in Muslim countries, because you can find it really easily if you look at it. You know, like this has something happening to children, this and that happening to women, and like any number of things that could go on, right? Wait, hang on 1 second though. Okay, are we good? So what I want you to understand is, while I'm not being, I am picking out a certain flavor, a coloring of the way Islam is portrayed in the United States. Okay? It is actually pretty common, the kinds of things that I'm talking about, because how often do you hear really positive, uplifting stories in the U.S. about Islam and about Muslim countries compared to the negative ones? How often do you hear our leaders talking about really positive ways about Muslims versus the negative ways about Muslims? I mean, how often, really? Think about it. And so, if we're going to pick out, just like we do in the media here, we're going to imagine you do it there. All right, so let's go. We got our 4 volunteers, and let's just start with this, right? So here, this is pretty, imagine, you're home, and this is the spiritual advisor to the former President Bush and advisor to Trump. He spoke at the inauguration, and he basically hates you. And he basically thinks that, your religion is evil and your religion is wicked. So just want to let you know, my friends, your religion is evil and wicked. So hang on to that, right? And then we're going to talk about this whole idea of Christian dominionism. Have you ever heard of this? Dominionism, Christian dominionism? And Christian dominionism is this idea that Christian dominionism is this idea that, starting with that the United States, that Christianity will be the dominant religion, or should be the dominant religion of the United States. It should take dominion over all other religions, because the United States is not only sociologically a Christian nation, but it actually is by law, and should be by law, because the founding fathers, et cetera, is a Christian nation, and that we should be living by the Bible, and we should be living by the words of God. And most importantly, this is really key, Jesus, not Allah, because Allah is irrelevant to Christians, right? Allah's nobody. I mean Muhammad, pardon me, peace be upon him. Thank you very much. Muhammad is irrelevant to Christians. But Jesus is coming again. And so the story for dominionist Christianity and for large swaths of Christians in the United States is that we're waiting for Jesus to come again to rebuild his kingdom on earth that will fundamentally be a Christian kingdom, you all will simply go to hell because, you're an evil, wicked religion and you're nothing, right? But the Christians who are really Christians, maybe you two, maybe not you, bro. It depends on how if the Catholic Church sort of comes back or whatever, right? And Presbyterians, I don't know. But you're not wearing a cross either, so who knows? But the rest of you good Christians will then spend your time in eternity with God. This is really key. This is really important. So one of the ideas here is if you're truly a Christian and if you live in the Dominionist perspective, the end of time is okay. Because the end of time means that Jesus has come again and God has regained his kingdom on earth, and it's all good. It's not a problem. So there's nothing to be afraid of. We're just sort of waiting along. And so one of the issues that's going on right now, and I'll show you some stuff, is Christian dominionism in the military. So many generals and many high-ranking people in the U.S. military who hold these dominionist ideas, including that, hey, we're just waiting for Jesus to come again because, it's all going to happen and he's going to come and everyone's going to be happy and we're going to live in this wonderful place again just like it was. And because this is the story and this is what has to happen. Revelations will absolutely play itself out, including... there was this, the Air Force was teaching this course. If you are, you can look this up, by the way. I'm not making this stuff up. So, you might want to look it up because it's pretty intense. The Air Force had this course that they were teaching to the people who, on just war theory. People who had their fingers on the buttons to shoot the atomic bombs. You understand, we still have people who have to shoot the bombs up. So we have enough atomic weapons in the United States still. Even though we've decommissioned many of them, we have enough to blow the world up several times over. And so somebody has to, when they get the call, they have to turn the key and they have to push the button. And imagine you are that person who has to push the button. Imagine that, right? Can you just imagine that you're going to be the one who is every day goes to work knowing that phone might ring and something might happen and you get the call and you got to say, oh my God, this is the end of life. And if you're Catholic, you do this. And if you're Protestant, you do that. And whatever it is, but here it goes and we go. And so the Air Force was teaching these folks according to this Christian ideology. And it was like Jesus for nukes or something. And they were using Christian ideology and Christian just war theory, including the whole teachings of Revelations, that this is exactly how the end will ultimately play itself out. So it's all good, my friends. And so as long as you're Christians sitting here at these nuclear weapons, we can work that through and work all of the struggles and questions and ideas that you have, and we'll make it happen. So you hear about this kind of stuff, right? Man, these Christians, God. And so we talk about the Middle East policy, right? And you all know, because you're Muslim, why we went to Iraq. We invaded Iraq. We invaded a whole country to get oil, just to steal oil. So Christians, they don't care. In the end, they can talk about God, thou shalt not steal, and thou shalt not kill, and thou shalt not do all these other things that thou shalt not do. But if you have oil in your country, and you do, bro, but we only invaded Kuwait to get Saddam Hussein out, only to get access to oil at some level. But we'll come get your oil, because that's why we're in Iraq. Fundamentally to get the oil. We didn't go to Egypt, because we don't give a damn about that. We didn't go to Bangladesh, because you don't have anything. And we didn't go to India because, whatever. Who cares about that? But we went for oil. And that's Middle East policy. These Americans who control, half of all the military spending in the world. We're really violent people, by the way. And you all know about that. We're violent people. You got it? So, damn. This guy right here. And here, let me read you a quote from this dude. He was one of the architects of the Iraq War when we went to steal the oil in the Iraqis. And he's a Dominionist Christian. So here's one of the most important generals running the Iraq War. And if you're the Americans, you probably have no idea about this. But if you're these folks, you do, because you're paying attention. So here's a Christian, and he says, the Lord is a warrior. And in Revelations 19, it says that when he comes back, he's coming back as what? A warrior. He's coming back as a warrior. You Muslims, listen to this. A mighty warrior leading a mighty army, riding a white horse with a blood-stained white robe. And I believe the blood on that robe is the blood of his enemies, because he's coming back as a warrior and carrying a sword. And you are the number one enemies, because you, Muslims, are the people that are trying to impose your will on the world, and we're going to make sure we impose ours in the thinking of this guy. And I believe now, I've checked this out. So this brother right here has checked this out. I believe the sword he'll be carrying when he comes back is an AR-15. Dude. Hang on, you can't. Can anyone laugh at that? Dude, I've checked this out. When he comes back, I've been reading Revelations. I got this shit down right here, and I checked it out. When he comes back, he's going to not carry a sword. It'll be an AR-15. I'm like, dude, where'd you check that out, man? Were you picking mushrooms again? Like, seriously? But whatever. All right, so he's picking it out. Okay. Here's Franklin Graham again. The world is attacking Christians because they hate the name of Christ. And by the world, he means Muslims. Okay? He means nobody else but Muslims. Let's be clear about that. And President Trump has been defending Christians. I find this refreshing to have a president who's not afraid to say Jesus. He's not afraid to have prayers where people end in the name of Jesus. Got it? Jesus. That's how real Christians say it. All right. What else do we have? Let's go to this one. Oh, this guy. This guy's the National Security Council Chief of Staff. Trump just appointed him fairly recently, so he's like really serious. He's also a Christian Dominionist, and he wrote this tract, A Plan for Victory Over the Global Jihad Movement. And his point is the majority of Muslims and Islamic authorities promote or support jihad and Sharia supremacism, meaning that the majority of you all are trying to impose your religion on the rest of us. And you support that, and you support jihad. In his mind, jihad is holy war, meaning you are supporting taking up arms against Christians and killing Christians. Like, that is fundamentally it. Sharia supremacism. Your job, what you want to do, is you want to take the Quran and you want to impose that, the majority of Muslims, you want to impose that on the rest of us, including us Christians. So this guy is now the chief of staff in President Trump's White House. Okay, so you're following this, right? Okay. Let's keep going. And there's Franklin Graham again, right? So here, I just wanted to do this because this is actually a shot. I want to just tell you what's going on in here. His father started, he was speaking at Liberty University, right? So this is not his university, but this was started by Jerry Falwell. And he's just another person who hated Muslims too, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so he was responding to a shooting in San Bernardino. And the shooting was one of the very few shootings that was done by Muslims here in the United States. The vast majority are not done by Muslims, but this one was. And so he was responding to it, and he's saying, if more good people had concealed carry permits, concealed carry, like concealed carry your gun, like I would have a gun under here, right? If more good people had concealed carry permits, then we could end those Muslims before they walked in, and we could kill them. He encouraged his students at the university to enroll in the university's free certification course that allows them to carry a concealed weapon, just like the one I have in my back pocket right now. So right there in his back pocket, he's got a concealed weapon because you never know when you got to use it on Muslims. You're all going to come in and try to kill us. So, all right. Here's just another pro-Trump, just like, wow, we never had such an outspoken guy supporting the Christian faith. and so on and so forth, right? Here's another guy. This is Kenneth Copeland. This is one of our big televangelists, which, maybe runs in Egypt, maybe, if there are a few folks listen to this guy. So this is a promise. If you do this thing, if you arm yourselves before the Lord, these Christians are really violent, man, because they're arming themselves before the Lord. You shall return, you're coming back and be guiltless before the Lord and before the nations. That's actually from Numbers. But his idea is like, take up arms and kill the Muslims before they kill us. Okay, this is really important. This is a prayer breakfast at Fort Jackson, right? One of the U.S. Bases. This is a Penn State graduate, which may explain, but Ahmadinejad, like Hitler and Mussolini, intends to conquer the world. Never mind that Ahmadinejad, there's only 77 million people in Iran. But he's a Penn State grad, right? He probably didn't take math classes. So 77 million, 6.5 billion, give or take. All right. But the Iranians, they have a lot of food. You've been to Persia? You've eaten Persian. Have you eaten Persian food? Yeah, you got it, dude. The Iranians, I had my best Persian meal actually in Kuwait, where Persians they tried to kill me, actually. They put so much food on the table and they forced me to eat it. And, okay, so, got it? So we're going to come after you before you come after us. Or this guy, he was another presidential candidate. He was CEO of Godfathers Pizza. Thank God it wasn't Papa John's. But these pizza guys. So the role of Muslims in American society is for them to be allowed to practice their religion freely, which is part of our First Amendment. The role of Muslims in America is not to convert the rest of us to the Muslim religion. That I resent, and so I push back and I reject them trying to convert the rest of us. So you understand, you can practice if you want, but he really rejects you trying to convert. And then he says, and based on the little knowledge that I have of Muslim religion, they haven't objected to convert all infidels or kill them. So this is the idea, the guy that ran for president. You all have this fundamental ideology that you have to convert us or kill us. And so we're going to go back to, what's his name? We're going to kill you before you kill us. And this is the ideology. We got to get this out to the American people because, this is real. So here's the 2010 Gallup poll. 55,000 Muslims from around the world, and Gallup spent a lot of money on this, right? Lots and lots of money on this. 35 countries, they were interviewed about a wide range of topics, right? So they really wanted to get what Muslims understand about the world. They want to really figure it out. We want to not just come back and imagine it, like talk to 4 people up here in front of Switch 19. We actually are going to go do a thoughtful, relatively objective survey. And one thing, which group is most likely to think that attacks on civilians is morally unjustifiable? Morally unjustifiable. You can't kill civilians under any circumstance. This is really important. So this is as good a data as you're ever going to get about Muslims around the world. And even here in the U.S. So this is really good, okay? Got it? Are we ready? My Muslim friends? Okay. So there's our answer. Unjustifiable. Christian Americans have the lowest scores. So Christian Americans are most likely to think that attacks on civilians are justifiable. Muslims around the world, 72%. That means 28% of Muslims around the world are saying, well, maybe there's some way you can here or there, or yes, you can, or whatever. But 72% are saying, no, man, there's no way under any circumstances. Muslim Americans, 81%. So you all are part of the 72%. Well, hang on, you're a Muslim American, right? You're Egyptian or Muslim American? Egyptian. And you're Kuwaiti American or Kuwaiti? Okay, so you're part of the 72%, or part of the 81%. You're part of the 72%. Me, as an American, I don't know what I am. I'll be Jewish today. All right, as a Jew, I'm 43%. But my Christian friends up here who are down here, you're in that group of 32%. So, y'all are feeling that, right? These Christians are really pretty scary. They're going to attack us before we even do anything. They're going to come after us. They're going to bomb us. They're going to take our resources if we have it. And they're going to kill civilians. Because, like, my God, they're more likely than anybody to think that it's okay to kill civilians, American Christians. Like, these people are pretty frightening. And they're coming with AR-15s, by the way, not swords, because Boykin checked it out. And he found out. You know, those mushrooms helped him out a little bit. So, all right. And then this came across my feed not long ago. We will not bow down to the satanic cult of Islam. So you guys see this going around Facebook in the U.S., and you're like, how many people have this and think this, and how many don't? And if you try, the cult of Islam, because your religion is a cult. It's not a religion, it's a cult. And if you try, we'll fight you till the end. We don't fear or we don't recognize you. We don't recognize your religion. We're free men, not women. I guess women aren't free, but whatever, dude. Accept how it is. You know what I mean? It's good enough. But the men are free. That's good enough. And you can never defeat us because God is with us. God's not with you. God is with us. Thank you very much. Oh, my God. Dude. That's for you, my friend. That's for you. That's for you. No, we can. Yeah, you can open it up. Okay, so here's where we're at. I'm actually not going to ask you what you think right now. So what I want you to do, yeah, her. Okay. Okay. No, because they're going up in here. They're going to go up into the class. Is there a mic they can use? All right. Here. What I want you to do is, I want you to go interview Christians in the class. And I want you to ask them, just find random Christians and ask them some questions, okay? Yeah, right now, my friends. Go find Christians and ask them those questions on the microphone. You ask them the question, and I want them to answer. No, you can go wherever you want to go. Just go find Christians. Yeah, got to be Christians, my friends.
First off, he's pointing
Oh, right, you got it.
Who's Christian?
You go, find Christians, man. Dude, you go up to the top. Dude, this not only is he a Christian, but he'll answer you as Donald Trump.
Do I start?
Yeah, you ask him the question and then have him respond.
Is anyone a Christian?
Why do you hate Muslims?
I don't.
Hi.
What's wrong with Islam?
Okay,
No, okay, go ahead. Find somebody else.
Nothing.
Just go with different questions. Go ahead, man.
who's Christian?
Who's next? You got somebody? This guy?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Push the button forward.
So the first question, why do you hate Muslims?
No, go to the second one. No, yeah, go to the first one. Go there.
Oh, it's the second one?
Yeah, do the
Okay.
first one. Go ahead.
Wait,
No,
second-
dude, you have to ask it. Go ahead.
Okay. Do I ask the first one?
Yeah, geez, whatever you want to do, my friend.
Okay. I'll ask the second, actually. It's more interesting. What's wrong with Islam?
Oh wow, it's loud. I don't think anything's wrong with it. I mean, I'm Catholic, but I think like you should be able to worship whoever you want to worship. It doesn't really matter to me. If you're happy, I'm happy. So I'm gonna say nothing's wrong with Islam.
All right.
Cool.
Dude, you got somebody?
Yeah. Which one do you want?
No, hey, you ask it, dude. Ask it out loud.
Why do Christians want to take over the world?
Dude, that's a good question. Why do Christians want to take over the world, bro?
I don't know. I don't think they want to take over the world. I don't want to take over the world. I just want people to be happy. So
I just want to be happy, man.
I don't know.
All right. Okay, cool, man. You got somebody?
What do you know about Islam?
Oh, good question.
I guess not that much.
Dude, really? You know how to spell it, right? All right, dude, what do you got?
Have you ever read the Quran?
No, I've studied aspects of it, but I've never actually read the actual book.
What do you ask her a follow-up? What does she know? What does she know about it?
What do you know about it? What did you learn about it?
One thing I learned was that it's similar to the Bible in certain ways. There are major differences, but it's not all hateful, which is what I was taught kind of growing up.
Oh, all right. Dude, you got somebody else? Who's next? You got somebody?
I got someone.
Dude, who do you got?
How many Muslims do you know?
Oh, cool, man.
Maybe like 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah, who are they? Wait, who are they? Is one named Muhammad? Probably.
Someone that I worked with this summer, and then just a few, not like friends, but like classmates or acquaintances.
Yeah. All right, cool. Next one, man. Dude, you got somebody?
Anyone Christian over here?
Come on, got some Christians, man.
I have someone.
Dude, all right, you got someone? Where you at?
Got someone.
All right, go ahead, man. You got someone? Go ahead.
Which Muslim countries have you visited?
I haven't visited any Muslim countries.
Yeah, no Muslim countries. All right, who do you got, man?
How many American Christians do you know who hate Muslims?
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Honestly, I don't come from, but part of my family are Southern Baptists, and they're actually not related to me, luckily, but 2 of them have expressed hatred towards the Muslim culture in front of me during Easter, which was a great family discussion. But yeah, so I actually do, which is kind of crazy and pretty wrong.
What did they say?
It's the most ignorant things, like Muslims are going to take over America, or like we need to fight to get them out of our country, things like that. And you just sit there and you're kind of just like, all right. Like,
dude, they cooked the food's too good, man.
I know. And it's Easter, so you're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But
well, Jesus was.
Yep.
You had to give him some reason to roll over in his grave. Okay.
Yep.
All
Very
right.
true.
Oh, wait, he's not in the grave. Sorry about that. All right. Next one. Who do we got?
I've got one.
All right, where at?
Here.
All right.
Hi. So, what do you know about Islam?
I know that you worship a different God than Christianity, like a different higher power, and that there is a different book. I think it's the Torah, Quran. Yeah. See, I don't know a lot about Islam. I know I have a few friends who are Muslim.
All right. Okay. You got one? You got one, bro?
Yeah. Why do you hate Muslims?
I don't hate Muslims. I actually grew up with a very diverse background from moving a lot. And when I lived in Cleveland, there's actually a big Muslim population in Cleveland. So I got to learn a lot about Muslims and become friends with a lot of Muslims. And my best friend in Texas is Muslim.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. You got another one? One more. Let's do another one. Go ahead.
How many Muslims do you know?
Like 2 or 3, I guess.
Oh, that's cool. I got that. Are we good?
No, I got one more.
You got one more?
Yeah.
All right, one more, man.
What's wrong with Islam?
Oh, dude.
Nothing.
Lay it out, my friend.
Nothing.
Oh, no, there are some shit. There's things wrong with Islam.
How many Muslims do you know?
Sorry.
1. You.
All right, here, man. Hey,
Yo, Sam, I got a question for you on your way down.
Yeah, all right.
Mark Patel says on the stream that you are trying to make Islam seem like a sugar-coated religion. What is your response to that?
Well, no, there are parts of Islam. There are parts of people who practice Islam who do things that I really, really, really disagree with and don't like. And that's what I said at the beginning. That part of my work that I've done even with militaries, is to say, look, we got to curtail radical Islam. And there are parts of Christianity that I don't like, the radical parts, the people who take these radical perspectives. So it's really, they're different things, but they're things that people that promote violence and commit violence I don't like. And there are Christians that commit violence, and there are Muslims that commit violence. Yo, do you have one more question? Are we good?
I have one more, yeah.
All right, go
But
ahead.
I need a Christian. Can someone raise their hands if you want to respond? Please.
Wait, say it again?
I'm looking for a Christian who
Yeah, are there
wants
any
to
Christians?
respond.
Dude, the woman right next to you is Christian. The blonde woman, she has to be a Christian. Come on, she's blonde. Are you kidding me?
Okay, great.
Ask her.
Okay, so how many American Christians do you know who want to take over the world?
Whoa, dog. All right. How many American Christians do you know that want to take over the world?
I don't think I know anyone that wants to take over the world that's an American Christian.
Beautiful. All right, come on back down. So here's the point. You ready, my friends? And you want to know what the lesson is right here? You want to know what the lesson is? It's actually pretty clear. Just like we don't know, we might hear certain things in the media about Muslims and about Muslims wanting to take over the world, Muslims wanting to impose themselves, Muslims wanting to do this, Muslims wanting to do that. When I travel in Muslim countries and when I talk to Muslims, or here in the United States I talk to Muslims, if I talk to you all, if I go somewhere else as Muslim American or wherever, I don't find that anywhere. And when I take these ideas, these questions right here, that are the same questions that Americans would ask about Muslims, but now Muslims are going to hear all the things that I just gave you, and they're going to ask about Americans, because this is what they're wondering in the Middle East. Why do Christians hate us? Why do Christians want to take over the world? Why do Christians want to invade Muslim societies? Why do Christians this? Why Christians that? All of that stuff. And so what? You all just taught Muslims, not only you all, but any other Muslims who might be watching the stream. What you just taught them is actually we're really not very radical. And those ideas don't represent us. And so one person has a couple family members that made some ignorant comments about Muslims, but you all are going like, yeah, I don't know, I really don't have any Muslim friends, but I don't hate Muslims, and I don't want to take over the world, and I don't want to destroy Islam, and I don't want any of that. These people don't speak for me, in other words. These people are not speaking for you. Is there anybody in the class? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Is there anybody in the class right now who would say, yep, I'm a Christian, I want to destroy Islam, I want the Christianity to take over the world, I want Jesus to come back, and I really hate Muslims, and I just think that Christianity should just dominate the whole world. And that's what it is. Is there anybody? Okay, really? And I think if you walked across the United States, even in the South, you're not going to find hardly very many people who would say yes to any of those questions. And same in Muslim countries. There are radical Christians who would say yes to that. And there are radical Muslims who would say yes to the reverse of those questions, i.e. I want to destroy Christianity, I want Islam to be the world religion, I want all this kind of stuff. But the vast majority, the people over here are the people here are the same as the Christians here, and it really isn't that different. And here's the problem. Like, you can say, I'm missing it, and I don't understand, etc. But I've traveled around the world and spent a lot of time in Muslim countries. I have never met a radical Muslim in my life. I've been seeking radical Muslims. I ask people, have you ever met a radical Muslim? Have you? I can't find anyone. I know they exist, however. I know that. I'm a sociologist. I study political sociology. I study violence. I study war. I know it. But I don't see it. And so this idea that we keep talking, look at you all. You're just like, look at, hang on. Can you just smile for they're just lovely people. And if you're over in the Middle East and you're doing your thing, and you're going to be the same way. It's just all good. Here we are. You got it? Do you want to make any final thoughts on it? You didn't find any radical Christians, by the way. You didn't find anyone that hates you.
I think this kind of shows that, like the saying that empty vessels make the most noise, and how you always hear just it's a small group of people who are so radical,
Yeah.
and Christians and Muslims, but those are the people you hear from the most and that you hear about the most. So that's what you start to believe is like it's just empty vessels make the most
Yeah,
noise.
exactly. Hey, can I also show you something really fast? Oh, I can't. All right. Dude. Okay. Anything else? This will be the final comment because we're going to jump on the screen.
Okay, so first of all, great time to be alive. Second of all, I think this mostly just has to do with like reactive, emotionally charged discourse. It's way easier for people to gather around fear and insecurity, which translates to hate, than it is for people to gather around love, because I feel like that takes way more courage than we think. So yeah.
Actually, yeah. I think we make it hard to gather around love, but it's actually pretty easy. But yeah, I hear you. Are we good? Do you guys feel like you want to say anything?
I have a quote that I would like to share.
What's that?
I have a quote that I like to share.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, "Fear leads to hatred, and hatred leads to violence." I just like that because you see it, because a lot of people like fear certain groups and they act hateful toward them, and suddenly you see people acting violent toward them.
Yeah, cool. Yep. My Egypt friend. Anything you want to say?
I agree with them.
You truly are a Penn State student. All right, man. Hey, thanks for doing this. Thanks for asking the questions. Yeah, thanks, man. Hey, so we have two things. I wanna do two things really fast. No, hang on. We have 10 minutes left. So there. Not yet. I got to do one thing. But no, hang on. So I got an email a couple weeks ago from someone who was watching the live stream in Algeria. And I said, hey, send me a really cool email. And I responded back and said, hey, tell me more about you. Like, why are you watching the stream and what's up? And so then wrote back. And then when I was in my office today, I said, hey, I need to bring this person into class today. Because this is someone who's just watching the live stream in Algeria, of all places. So, so I'm ready, Mom. Wait. Nasima.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I am killing it. You're sideways, by the way. But that's all right. Stay sideways. It's all good. Hey, so listen, so where are you in Algeria?
I'm from a region called Jijal. It is 300 kilometers from east of Algiers, the capital of Algeria.
Uh-huh. So, wait, hang on. Seriously, turn your camera to the right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there we are. All right. Hey, so what do you do for a living? What is your occupation?
I'm a lecturer at the University of Bijaya here in Algeria.
And you teach computer science?
I teach, yes, computer science for students of chemical science. I teach them how to do programmation, how to learn some language of programmation to solve some problems in their science.
Mm-hmm. So, why did you start watching the class, by the way? Just out of curiosity, what brought you to the class?
Yes, I discovered your class in YouTube since 6 months ago. I find that you talk about Islam, and I want to know what do you think about it. So I do some research, and I find that you are a professor in a university, and you do things about race and sociology. So I like it.
And you found out today that Americans don't hate Muslims, right? You were watching the class?
Yeah, someone tells me that do not judge others. If you do not know someone, do not judge him. So I think that we all have an image about the others because we do not know them. We get this image from the media and from what others say to us. So we have to do some research. We have to go forward and to try to know others and to have the real image.
Hey, okay, I like that. What's one thing you would like to say to my class about Islam for you?
I can do just one sentence. It is a definition of a Muslim. The Prophet said that a Muslim is someone who does not hurt others by his hands, or so the key thing in Islam is do not hurt others. So it is a couple of rules of ethics, how to help others, how to do his life normal, and there is very many things to do. So I think that Islam show people how to do their lives better without hurting others.
So the idea is, it's a very simple idea, don't harm others, and don't do harm to anybody. Yeah. Have you ever met a Muslim who hates Christians?
No. Here in Algeria, people think that Christians have a different religion from us, but not as they don't look there as enemies.
So I was reading from some quotes from some of our leaders and Christian leaders that say that, like Muslims hate us and hate Christians and they want to take over the world. So just from your personal experience, you don't experience that in Algeria.
Yeah, exactly. There is nothing like that here. I think people should learn more and do more research to know more about others, and do not take just repeat what media say or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. That's nice. Hey, do you have any question? I'll take just another question. I really appreciate you staying awake and visiting class. What's one thing you would like to know about the United States?
I want about the country or people.
Maybe the people. Maybe Donald Trump's hair. Do you want to know something about Donald Trump's hair? It's real. It actually is real. It's about this long, and he just whirls it around his head. And so, no, maybe about the people.
I do know some European people here because I travel to France, but American people I don't know. I have no contact. So I do like to know some Americans and know how they doing and how they see others, how they so I'd like to know some things about American people.
Yeah. Okay, wait, hang on 1 second. Can you kill the mic? Yo. Dudes. Calm down. What the fuck, man? See what I see? See what the fuck was? Yeah. Okay. Listen. You can, I think you will, I guess from watching YouTube, you can learn a lot about Americans. But what I want to say is, I think what you saw maybe here in class is that just like in Algeria, just like everywhere in the world, Americans, the average Americans, the majority of Americans don't think in the negative, biased ways of the leaders. That's how it always is everywhere. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And as you say in one lecture of you say that we all are the same. So I hope that everyone understand that.
And inshallah, we will all remember that. Yeah.
yeah. Inshallah. Yeah.
Hey, listen, so thanks for visiting. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, wait, does someone, hang on 1 second before they, hey, can someone just get a photo? Make sure, can someone get a photo up there of her? Make sure and put it on Twitter. Of her, like on the screen and with me down here. Can you get that? On your phone? From the back? Wait, you can't leave. We have 2 more minutes because I have an announcement to make. All right, did someone get a photo in the back? You got it? Thanks, man. All right, I will see you. We'll be in touch, and I will respond to your...
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Hey, hey, listen, real fast.